Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
For this is what the Sovereign Lord says.
Why do you need prophets to tell people who you are and what you want?
If you can justify everything that the God of the Bible has done, then you can justify any of your behavior.
A lot of this mentality is trickling into what is now mainstream right-wing Christianity.
I am capable of empathy greater than this God of the Bible.
This is a Bible that they tell kids. This is the good Lord. This is the good book. He is fantasizing about murder, mass murder.
Head over to sacrilegiousdiscourse.com right now to find out how to leave us a review or support us on Patreon.
Hey there, sinners and saints. It's your favorite Bible-bashing duo from Sacrilegious Discourse, and we need your help.
That's right, folks. We're raising funds for some heavenly equipment and a studio that doesn't sound like it's in the depths of hell.
Our current setup, let's just say it's more apocalypse than audiophile.
So if you want to hear us dissect the Bible without the background noise of demonic squirrels, chip in a few bucks.
We're aiming for $5,000 to upgrade our audio and build a studio worthy of blasphemous banter.
Donate today and help us spread the good word of atheism.
You can find a link right on our homepage, sacrilegiousdiscourse.com. Every dollar counts.
Even if it's from your collection plate. Husband.
Wife.
Where you going? What you doing?
Well,
what's happening?
I'm going to the Kentucky Freethought Convention.
And when is that?
It's today.
Yeah.
It's if you're getting this, I'm probably either on my way or already there.
Yep.
Now I keep saying
Yeah.
Wife's not going.
I'm really upset about it actually because I really liked the last time that we went.
Yeah, we had a blast.
It was fun. We made a new friend.
Yeah.
And we got to see some, really cool people in the community.
Some great speeches and just all kinds of things.
Yeah.
It was we picked up new fans even. So
yes.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was a great experience overall. I really enjoyed it.
Right. But as everybody may know, if you're listening to this, possibly, and if you don't, you can find out the entire saga. It's called, I think we call the episode Wife's Saga.
Yeah.
Or Wife's Broken the Saga. That's what it was. Wife's Broken the Saga. It's over on our Patreon for free for anybody. You don't have to be a member. So you can go over there and listen to it. But Wife is a bit broken.
Yeah.
So
I have broken bones and I'm still in a lot of pain periodically. And being at a convention all day just doesn't light my fire right now.
Right. So if you come to the Kentucky Freethought Convention, we apologize, but it'll just be me.
Yeah.
But we will. I will be there.
The pooper of the party will be there, but the party won't.
That's yeah. Only nobody knows what you're referring to.
Well, they would if they were in our live discords every Wednesday at 10.
Right.
They would know that you're the party pooper and I'm the party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they got to show up at Discord to understand that reference.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm saying.
And stay till like midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See?
So it's a select crowd.
It is a select crowd. Definitely.
All right. Well, so I think what we're doing today is like a special episode based around the theme of the Kentucky Freethought Convention, right?
Mm-hmm. And that theme is breaking generational curses.
Okay. All right. And what kind of stuff are we going to be covering today?
Depends how far we get. I was going to let you choose what we cover first.
Okay.
Curse versus cycle, the illusion of fate, and reframing the narrative are the three main pieces that I picked out that I thought we could talk about.
I say we start with curse versus fate because I think that is...
I don't know. You just combined two of the titles.
Oh, did I really?
Yeah. It's curse versus cycle or the illusion of fate.
Oh, curse versus cycle then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. I apologize. I'm going to go down the list because I'm assuming that's probably how you have your notes.
I mean...
More than likely.
But... I just wanted you to pick, but yeah, I can go in any order.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Well, we'll start there.
Okay. Sounds
all right.
Good.
You ready to do this?
I am.
Let's do it.
Okie dokie. All right. So we are getting into this pre-convention episode with regard to the Kentucky Freethought Convention.
Yeah.
And...
I thought it was an interesting concept as far as what they're basing the convention on. So
it is breaking generational curses. Like there's a lot there.
Yeah,
it's a big topic, and when I was kind of looking for ideas of how to approach this, I used AI to like say, give me some ideas. And
Sure.
it spit out so many. And then from there, I had to narrow it down. It's such a broad topic, which I appreciate because that means that I almost said we, I'm so sad. You are going to hear some really great speeches there.
Yeah.
That there's no likelihood that they'll be doubling up.
Right.
Because it's such a big umbrella.
Yeah.
As I said, we're going to be talking about 3 different things here today, assuming that we don't get too chatty on each of them.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
The first one is curse versus cycle. The second one is the illusion of fate. And the third one is reframing the narrative.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
With regard to curse versus cycle, I really thought this was interesting. There was a question of what does the term curse mean in a secular context? Like defining, what do you mean by curse? How can it be a curse?
Right, because we don't really believe in the hooey-hooey, bullshit out there.
And I just thought, wow, what a great place to start. So that was the first place I started my notes.
Right.
I'm really glad that you wanted to start there too.
Actually, recently we've had some discussions about feelings about connectivity, I guess, and just how you versus I feel about certain things. So it's an interesting topic, I think, for us especially.
It is.
Yeah.
One of the things that they talked about with regard to curses in the atheist community is generational patterns or generational trauma.
Okay.
And what that means is stuff that's being passed down from parent to child, and then the child grows up and passes it down to their child, and that child grows up and passes it down to their child. So the concept of a curse in this particular case can be understood, obviously, without invoking supernatural explanations.
Yeah.
It's just generational trauma. And there are many ingrained patterns of behavior and systemic disadvantages, like monetary, like economic.
Right.
In addition to the whole religion thing, there's a bunch of other systemic issues that can be passed down.
It's definitely hard to break out of a poor economic structure that you grew up in, right? That's not an easy thing to overcome.
Exactly. And so these kinds of generational traumas or patterns get passed down through many generations.
Right.
Hence the term generational.
Now, I would say I don't like the word curse to be used in these are problems that have solutions, right? We have ways of discussing these in society to come up with a way to fix these things.
And that was my thought when you gave me that topic as what they're discussing at the convention, like the main overlying theme of the convention. That made me so curious what made them choose that specific term.
Well, and that's right now we're discussing what it's a discussion, right?
Right.
Where we're sitting here, we're going, what does that mean? What does that mean to us?
Exactly.
So that's a good thing. It inspires discussion.
Absolutely. Yeah. It made me really curious. So that's why I was starting there. Like, what do you mean by that even?
Right.
So I'm curious, while you're there this weekend and, assuming that you get an opportunity to hear a lot of the talks and not just maybe only a couple of them.
Yeah.
Anytime you hear somebody give a definition of curse, make sure you either jot it down or record it, because I'm interested to know how other people have taken this word in the context of their discussion as they're presenting it.
Well,
I want to know.
My understanding is that we'll be close enough that we'll be able to hear while we're at our tables.
Oh, perfect.
That'll be great.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, definitely be feeding me notes along the way. Because I definitely want to know
I should mention this real quick. If you're popping on here and you're listening to this on Saturday, it's September the 7th, while I'm at the Atheist Convention, I am going to have Discord open and on in our stage channel.
Ooh.
So you guys are more than welcome to join us there.
Ooh.
And so that means that you will be able to hear what I'm saying, what I'm doing there while I'm there. And you'll be able to chat in the chat section and interact.
Okay. So I did not realize that. So yay. I think I'll be popping in and out too then throughout the day.
Yeah.
So in between, medication rounds.
And naps for that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. unfortunately, I have an adverse reaction to all painkillers in that they knock me out.
Right.
Which, I mean, some might call that a good thing. I do, but okay. So in psychology, the term generational trauma is often used to describe the emotional and psychological effects of adverse experiences passed down through families, which we just discussed.
Right.
That's generational trauma.
Yeah.
Now, studies have shown, just as a large example, that children of Holocaust survivors exhibit higher rates of PTSD and depression compared to the general population, suggesting that trauma can indeed be inherited across generations. So this is just not just a psychology thing. This is an actual phenomenon.
Well, if you think about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you have a family member or multiple family members that have a trauma that they endured, right? That is going to affect their lives, and then by affecting their lives, it's going to affect their kids' lives in a certain way.
Sure.
So I definitely can see how that could happen, for sure.
Yeah. I just thought, just on a large, grand scale, it's harder to discuss something like this with a person of faith.
Right.
To say, well, of course you're a believer, it was passed down, and they'll say, no, I'm a believer because I chose it. And it's like, oh, okay.
Right.
I see you there.
Yeah.
But okay. But if you were to point out a statistic like this, that backs you up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just found that really interesting.
Yeah. No, definitely.
All right. So did you have any more to add on curse versus cycle?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that pretty much covered that. For
Sure.
It is what it is, but it's an interesting way to break into the conversation, right?
Yeah.
That's I
Is a
appreciate
curse?
that. Right. What is a curse, and how can you apply it to a secular form of thought in some sense, right?
Yeah.
And that's to say that these things it's essentially mental health, right? That mental health and economic health and social health that gets transmitted from one generation to the next generation.
I'm so glad you said all of those, because those are literally things we're going to discuss.
Oh, okay.
So, yes, you are spot on.
Right.
Okay, so moving on then to number 2, the illusion of fate.
Okay.
And challenging the notion of predetermined destinies. So, that's one of the, breaking generational curses. One of those is having the illusion of fate, So there's challenging the notion of predetermined destinies, as well as exploring how personal agency can overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about the first one a little bit.
Sure.
Challenging the notion of fate, predetermined destiny, meant to be kind of thing.
Right.
What are your initial thoughts before I bring anything?
My initial thoughts about fate are that it's a lazy way of accepting status quo.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So it's a way in which you can it's a way for you to accept what you have and say, well, this was fate, and this is the way it's supposed to be, and I have to accept it because this is the way it was predestined.
God always planned this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it allows you to skip the hard questions of, well, do I really accept this? Is this really something I want? Is this really something that was meant to be? Is this where I should be? Is this what I would have chose to be?
The book Candide by Voltaire really examines this a lot throughout the text. It's such a good book. If you ever have a chance to read it, highly recommend, because it challenges the notion of accepting status quo. For example, right toward the beginning, there's this ship, and I've probably given this example so many times now, so apologies if I'm being repetitive.
Right.
There's a ship, and people are drowning, and there's people that are on the side just kind of watching. And the question is, well, shouldn't we go in and save them? And the answer is, well, no, if they're meant to survive, they will.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Like, the whole book is very tongue-in-cheek, okay? Voltaire is not saying that is the correct thought process.
Sure.
He is saying the result of this thinking is you standing by and allowing tragedies to occur.
Right.
Because, as you said, it's lazy thinking, it's accepting status quo.
Well, and I think even more than that, it's a tool for disinformation, right? So let's just put this in a personal relationship. We're in Hosea. When in the Bible, we're in Hosea, so I might as well use it this way.
Sure.
Okay. So in Hosea, he talks about his wife as a metaphor for how God treats Israel and views Israel, right? Well, let's talk about how a relationship could be viewed in regards to fate, right? And let's just say that two people meet at a really odd place out in the world that they would have never expected to meet there, right?
Sure.
And they knew each other from way back when.
I mean, that's happened to me multiple times, literally.
Sure. But let's just say that maybe they decide to go on a date or two, right? But then one of the people in the relationship decides to push the idea that this is fate, right? This is meant to be. This is a predestined thing, and they lean heavily into we met at this weird place, and they do like it's a way to manipulate people into believing something is correct and good without having actual basis in fact.
Exactly.
And I think that religion uses that same idea to get people to buy into their faith and their religion and their ideas through that predestined idea.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's lazy, it's manipulative, and it's not correct. Right. Like weird things happen.
I mean, they just do. Like, for example, I grew up overseas. My dad was military. I was on a small Air Force base in southern Italy. Years later, as an adult, I served in the Army and was stationed in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, I ran into when I was at the hospital, Triple Army Medical Center.
Yeah.
I ran into my cheerleading coach from my high school times in Italy. Now, one might say that that would be fate.
Right.
But when we really examine it, they were both contractors, she and her husband. For the military. Right. Now, granted, I'm talking about two different places, Italy to Hawaii. Yeah. That's weird. Right. And we're talking Air Force in one case, Army in the other.
Sure.
But even so, the military world is so small. Anywhere you go related to military, there is a 3 in 5 chance. That's not nothing that you're going to bump into somebody that you know. I had another strange coincidence while I was in Hawaii. My dad discovered that he had a brother who was adopted out as a baby.
Yeah.
This happened while I was in Hawaii. He discovered this. And moreover, that this brother that he didn't know he had a daughter in the Army stationed where I was stationed at the same time. So she and I met and got together for lunch.
Very cool.
Right?
Yeah.
So, was that fate? I don't think so, because we didn't really like each other a whole lot.
Sure.
She and I did not stay in touch.
It's one of those weird coincidences, right? And I actually heard, I was listening, Seth Andrews is going to be at the Kentucky Freethought Convention as well.
And you're so excited.
Yeah, no, I am. I listen to his podcast, and, I enjoy his discussions, and I do get something out of it. I think it's a good platform. But one of the things that he mentioned in one of his recent podcasts, I believe, it might have been that, or I just recently listened to his book too. So either way, it was something
his podcast
something I was listening to recently by Seth, was that with regard to fate and coincidence and meant to be type scenarios, right? You could walk into Walmart 100 times. Right. And then on the 101st time, you find this long lost friend there. Right. And you say it's fate. You say it's meant to be. It's this. But you've been there 101 times. Right. Right. There was no fate or coincidence in the other times where you missed each other. Right. It was just that one, the fact that you know somebody in the world and they shop at the same fucking Walmart as you, and you run into them 1 out of 100, 1,000, whatever, however many times, is not fate. It's just math. Yeah. It's math that works out in your favor that day, I guess. Right. But it's still math. I mean, in a universe full of infinite possibilities are bound to happen. Right. And we're going to notice the ones that stand out, right? The ones that are weird, the ones that are different, the ones that are one-offs. Those are the ones you're going to remember. And then you way too much. Like, if you believe in fate, if you believe in the overarching destiny, the magic of the world, right? Then you're going to apply way too much emphasis on those encounters and those situations, and you're going to apply them to this magic of the world that we call fate. Instead of just that's really cool that happened. What a great day. That was unexpected. Right. Which, no, I mean, you can still think it was cool without attributing magic to it. Yeah, it doesn't, and that's just it, right? It doesn't take away from that encounter, in my opinion. No, me neither. It just is a different way to look at it that is not manipulating how you look at the world.
Right. It's an honest enjoyment instead of a somebody else put it there for me on purpose.
Right.
Enjoyment.
It's a lot like when, we talk about this a lot when Christians will thank God for something that somebody else did.
Yeah.
And it's like a doctor or the person that brought the food to their table or cooked it or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
You thank God instead of the person that did it, right?
God is good.
Why not just enjoy the fact that you ran into somebody that you hadn't seen in a long time instead of attributing magic to it, right? Just be like, hey, this is a great opportunity to reconnect with that person that I enjoyed their company years ago.
Yep.
And
this was good food. And this was like all the things that you would say thanks for. Just be grateful.
I mean, if you want to thank anything, thank math, Or thanks, math.
Thanks, math. Or you can maybe, instead of thanking God, if you're gonna do that, maybe go the extra mile by also hoping and marching and getting involved in campaigns that make minimum wage workers get higher wages. Instead of like you're at McDonald's, right? And you're like saying thank you for the meal before me. I love these chicken nuggets. Yeah. Thank God.
You're saying take actual action to thank the people that make it count, right?
God did not bring you those fucking nuggets.
Right. Yeah.
The fucking minimum wage teenager with zits on their face brought it to you.
Well, it's not necessarily even teenagers anymore. There's a lot of people that are trying to sustain a life.
Older people who retired and thought they were done and are still working because they don't have a fucking choice. Or
a
single
mom who's
parents
working 2 jobs that's trying to, provide for their kids. There's a lot of scenarios where you really should thank that person, right?
You should thank the person. And moreover, if you're going to be all thank God about it, you should actually be saying, well, thank you, God, for having this person that brought me the food. But could you maybe do something about the fucking minimum wage? And, I don't know. I'm just so bitter. Like when people say thank God, I'm always like, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
God don't give a fuck about your nuggets or if your football team won.
No.
If you think God does give a fuck about that, fuck that God.
Yeah. Well, because, look at all the stuff that he doesn't apparently care about.
Well, when 2 teams are praying, does the one who won, does that mean that their team prayed harder?
I always wondered about that, right? I'm like, why do we put such an emphasis on these people that, kneel in the end zone and pray to God and stuff like that? I'm like, but what about the people that just got run over by you,
How about instead we just say, all right, how many Christians are on each team? And instead of playing, be like, oh, you brought 30, we only brought 25. 30 team with 30 Christians wins.
That's what we should do. We should actually do a study about the amount of Christians and how hard they pray before every NFL game and see if it makes a difference in the outcome of the game.
Yeah.
Right? Statistically.
Sure.
That way we should really get them on board and see if we can, find a.
But then you'd also have to account for the ones that pray at home watching TV. And how do you account for those? Because the one that had fewer show up, but they might have had more sitting at home.
Okay.
So how do you account?
I don't know. I don't know how
either.
You do it. Yeah.
So I think it would have to be those who show up.
You think?
Yeah. Those who can afford.
They could do like a Nielsen survey or something and find out how many people were praying during that specific game for that team.
Or whichever
or if you're a Christian or whatever.
Whichever network that they aired on.
Yeah.
They could also track how many households were watching that game.
I think we could do this. That could be done. There's a way to do that. There
is a way. I'm not saying that it would be done.
Right.
But it could be done.
Yeah.
And then we don't even have to play the game so nobody gets hurt.
And really, I specifically because he's like anti-American, apparently. If Colin Kaepernick was playing on a team, then obviously they should always lose, right?
They should, right?
That's just the way that God works, right?
Yeah, God hates only people that
he doesn't like
kneel during the national anthem of America.
Right, because America is God and God is America, right?
Well, yeah. Wasn't Jesus born here? Pretty sure he's white, isn't he? Straight white male?
That's what a lot of people think.
Yeah, they do.
But no.
I love watching those YouTube videos where people freak the fuck out when you tell them Jesus was a Jew and they lose their fucking minds. How dare you? That's so blasphemous.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we are way
great.
Off topic.
Oh yeah, but it's fun.
Okay, so let's talk more about predetermined destinies.
Okay.
So what about the notion that one's life path is preordained or controlled by external forces? Like, whatever job you pick and you're on the right path to riches, and rich people got there because God wanted them to be rich, and poor people obviously fucked up somewhere.
Right. No, I don't think that's... Look, there's actual... So this is one of those places where science muddles it a little bit, because there is like this study that has been put out where it shows that you actually determine the idea that your decision is determined before you make the decision, right?
Yeah.
Like it's your decision is actually predetermined chemically or
That's where we're getting into like nature versus nurture and how hard you put forth efforts and stuff.
No. There's this is more minute. So I probably shouldn't have even brought it up. But basically, whenever you make a decision, your body chemistry has already made that decision without you knowing you made the decision.
What?
There's something, I'd have to look up the exact study. I'm doing it no justice here, but there is some study and Christians like to bring it up sometimes. Like, no, we actually don't have a choice. You're doing, depending on what they're arguing. But there is a study that shows that you don't actually make the decision when you think you make the decision.
Oh, okay.
So it's a thing.
Okay, the only science that I will attribute to that is that the conscious thought hasn't quite verbalized it out loud to yourself, maybe.
Right.
You have already thought it through in the back of your mind, maybe, but that ain't God. That's just having done shit in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
Quicker than you were able to.
Right.
Kind of like, if you were to ask me math, well, I'd have to take forever at it, right? But if you asked me for... I don't know. I can't even think of a good example. But like if you asked me for a recipe to something that I love and I rattled off the instructions off the top of my head without even thinking about it. Yeah. That goes along with the idea that sometimes, you're thinking too hard and that's why you fuck up. Sure. Like that's the opposite,
Yeah.
So I just...
It has to do more with like... So there was a study I looked it up real quick. There was a study in 1983... an experiment done by Benjamin Libet, and participants were asked to perform...
You need to leave it alone.
They're asked to perform a simple action, such as like flexing their wrist at the time of their choosing. Brain activity was monitored, and participants were also asked to note the precise moment they felt the conscious intention to act. And the results showed that the brain activity related to the action began before participants reported their conscious awareness of the decision to act.
Okay, I'm going to call bullshit on that study, though, because... they were thinking about...
as soon as they were asked.
They were thinking about it from the time that they were asked. Yeah. It doesn't matter when they did it.
No, I agree.
So they were like, should I do it now? Should I do it now?
It's one of those things that's debated a lot. And it's one of those things that there are actual studies with regard to this phenomena,
but
I guess.
It should have been
But
further...
it's very nuanced as far as what those things are, I think.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not saying I'm against studying that, but that should not have been the end all be all then.
Right.
It should have gone further.
Yeah.
And not just like dropped, like boom, God.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I'm going to put a big no on that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm no scientist.
Right, but that, to me, after reading that little snippet after doing a search, it was, that doesn't really, to me, make any... That doesn't say God to me at all.
What's the control subject in that? You need a control where you don't tell the people to squeeze their wrists. Right. Yeah. And how do you do that?
The other side of that is that I've heard people that are, religious argue free will and not free will. Like
at the same time.
They'll say that everything is predestined, and then in the same breath, they'll say that everything is free will. You have free will.
At the same time.
At the same time.
Yeah.
I'm like, which is it, guys? Right. I don't know where to argue with you.
The way that I've heard people describe it is that you have free will even though God already knows which way you decided. Yes. And that one makes me tired because then I'm like, then why even fucking bother?
Right. If God already knows, you don't have free will. Right?
I mean, in my opinion. You've already done the game before you even showed up. Right. So why even be born? Yeah, right. Like it's so pointless. It makes life so pointless to me.
And it makes me question a lot of God's actions too. Mm-hmm. I'm like, if he knew everything ahead of time, why does he get angry at all?
Right?
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's silly.
Right.
All right, so listen to this. There are studies about twins that have shown that while genetics play a huge role in certain traits and behaviors, like you can ask twins questions in different rooms, and a lot of times they'll like give the same answer. Or I saw one where this guy was asking these twins, there was a wall between them, but like they could both see him, but they couldn't see each other, and he could see both of them.
Right.
And so he's asking both of them, raise one of your hands. And they both raise the same hand. And he says, hop on one foot. And they both hop on the same foot.
Sure.
And then he's like, think of a number. And they both pick the same number.
But, okay, so the first two, right? I'm just going to say were they both predominantly right-handed or left-handed?
Yeah, I don't know.
And, like, so that matters, right?
Right.
And then with the picking of the number, maybe they're twins, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they have the same fucking number on purpose.
Well, that, and they have clearly mirrored the same reactions over time, because as the dude kept being like, whoa, and oh my God, like he's like just very excited that this is happening. Like, I don't believe it. This is amazing.
No, I mean, it's cool.
No, listen.
Okay.
So the girls, both of them, adopt the same stance, and they're like, what? And they both put out the same hand. And then he's like, oh my God. And then they both like put their hand in their hair going, what? And so that was kind of cool. But I mean, clearly they have the same kind of mannerisms because they're around each other and they're inclined the same way. That's the whole nature versus nurture, right?
Right. And genetics are much closer in a twin than they are in another. So, I mean...
Yeah, I mean, if they are identical twins, they are literally clones.
Right.
So,
yeah. So it makes a little bit of sense there.
Right. Even though that is true, though, environmental factors also significantly influence individual development. So two twins might be raised the exact same way, but then later on you have one that's like the good twin and one that's the bad twin, or, shit like that. Like, one gets all the blame, one gets all the glory.
Sure.
But that is more like the siblings in general, I think.
Right.
Not just twins.
Yeah.
Also, there's cases where twins have been separated.
Right.
From birth.
Yeah.
And they manage to find each other when they're in their late adulthood, and they find out that they both picked very similar style houses and cars, very similar looking spouses, same number of animals and the same type, same blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And so that's really cool. But then just as often, or probably even more often, they're just two different people living two different lives.
Right.
The end.
Yeah.
But you don't hear about those because those aren't as cool.
Right. Again, that's math, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying that there's some genetics involved there, but I mean, math also can play into that.
Math is cool.
And we're going to pick the ones that are really weird, right? The ones where they have those connections. And we're probably not listing off everything in their life. We're listing off the things that they have connections on, right? Mm-hmm. Just those certain things.
The more obvious ones.
Right. Yeah. And if it's obvious, and it obviously that's going to wow people. But if you said, hey, this neighbor 5 streets down has the same amount of pets that we do, but it wouldn't be there's not the same wow factor. It's because they're twins.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes, is it kind of cool?
Okay,
but
listen.
We should probably examine it further, too.
There was one, and this is so stupid, but I love these dumb stories, okay?
Sure.
There was one where the two were told by multiple people, like, oh my God, this person has to be your twin. I've seen somebody that looks like you, but you weren't there. So, clearly. Yeah. And so anyway, they get in touch online and they're like, whoa, we really do look alike. Okay, let's meet. So they meet up, and they had both shopped at Walmart or something because they were both wearing the same outfit, but like in reverse colors. So like one was wearing a blue top and white pants, and the other one was wearing the exact same outfit, but reversed. Huh. Yeah. And that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And they were like, shut the fuck up. Which is how I would be.
Yeah.
I mean, math is cool. Math is just fucking cool.
Yes.
Like math appearing in nature, like that one number, I forget what it is, that like, is it the Fibonacci sequence, or is it like the phi number or something like that?
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, it's the one that it's the same ratio in spirals that shows up in like sunflowers and seashells.
Yeah.
And it's fucking amazing. And that's not magic. It's
math.
Beautiful math.
Yeah.
Like it's still math, and it feels magical. So why do we have to add magic to it? Why do we have to say it's magical?
No, to me, science is beautiful, right?
It is.
Science is amazing. And I don't need magic to explain those things.
Robert A. Heinlein said something similar. I can look at a garden and appreciate the beautiful butterflies and flowers without adding magic to it. It's enough as it is. It's already beautiful.
It is.
And I so appreciate that quote.
Well, and again, I think you're taking away from the magic of what we like. To me, you're taking away from the beauty of what it is to be this unique thing in the universe.
Yes.
When you add God, when you add magic, right?
Yeah.
It should be enough, right? It should be enough that we are here and unique and what we are because of this random sequence of events.
Right.
That to me is so cool.
Yeah. The final point under this particular topic is the concept of self-fulfilling prophecies, which suggests that beliefs about oneself and one's abilities can influence actions and outcomes. And I have mixed feelings about that. Because they're trying to say that self-fulfilling prophecy is, let's not attribute magic. But to me, that's more psychology and less magic.
Yeah, 100%.
Because self-fulfilling prophecy, the way it's typically used is, it's that whole, if you say you're going to have a good day, you will. If you say you're going to have a bad day, it's still true.
I was going to say, psychologically speaking, we know that it pays off for yourself to work on getting yourself in a better mood, right?
Half glass full, half glass empty. Because
you have a tendency to get, sick easier if you're in a bad mood. There's all kinds of negative effects to being in a bad mood.
Because hormones.
Sure. Whatever it is. But the mentality that you have going in is going to affect your day. It's going to affect what you do, how things happen. It's better to try to get into a state of mind that puts you in a better frame to work forward from. You know? So
I happen to know that if I am expecting the worst and I am catastrophizing, which I used to do more, I don't do as much anymore.
Right.
But if I'm like, everything sucks, so this is probably bad going to happen. When the bad thing inevitably happens, then I'm like, see, it just added to blah, blah, blah. And then like it allows me to like wallow and to further feel vindicated. Also, at the same time that I'm wallowing in my depression, I'm also vindicated because, see, I was right. I knew the thing. Right. And then every bad thing afterward from there on out further proves to me. And it's like, no, but like you said, it's just shit that happened. If I walk in and I'm in a shitty mood and, I drop my grocery bag, that sucks. And, if the eggs break, like, God damn it, that really fucking sucks. I was already in a bad mood. Now I got to do this.
Right.
Now, I can slow down and take a fucking breath, or I can make a bigger mess by being a fucking bitch and, throw shit or like stomp around and then accidentally drop something else.
Right.
And then be like, God damn it.
Yeah.
It's not magic. It's your mood and your actions and personal responsibility and what you're bringing to the table.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that you're not going to drop your groceries when you're in a bad mood.
Right.
That's not to say you're not going to break eggs and then stomp around and kick something else.
Sure. I think we've all been guilty of that. Like, that's just life.
And sometimes a string of bad luck happens.
Sure.
Bad luck, not in the magical sense. Bad luck in the mathematical sense.
I was going to say a string of bad math. That's really what it is.
So, I mean, really, we ought to be saying like, think science or think math. Instead of thank God.
Yeah.
Or like when we're having quote unquote bad luck, we should be like, whoa, I'm having some really bad math today.
I think you say math or fucker,
Math, damn it.
Yeah, math, damn it.
Oh, I really like that one. So yeah.
Fuck math.
But not really, because I love math.
Right. No, but I mean in the moment when you're, pissed off at math,
Fucking math.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Goddamn science.
We can love and hate math, right?
Yeah.
People love and hate God, so we can love and hate math.
And you know what the difference is? Math is real.
Yeah, exactly.
So again, mixed feelings about this whole self-fulfilling prophecy thing. I'm not sure what they meant by that. It's magic. Again, are you sure about that?
This isn't shit that convinces me.
No.
Of magic, God, anything like that. So
no. I feel like whoever put this in the notes like was supposed to be like saying, that's a bad thing to believe in. And I'm like, but it's not though.
Right.
Self-fulfilling prophecy is a thing. It's just that it's not magical.
Right.
It's, you and your outlook.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so moving on, how personal agency can overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles.
Okay.
So we've got like the capacity for individuals to make choices, take action, and overcome challenges, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds.
Again, this kind of goes back to what we were just discussing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. This falls under the same umbrella.
Yeah.
So it's just another point.
Yeah. If you put yourself in the mindset that you are going, like, if you walk in, right? And I had a similar experience to this actually with the new job that I just started, right? I walked into that job and I said, I am going to blow their minds right off the bat. I'm going to just turn heads. I'm going to make everything I can.
You are
work.
so good at this mental trick. You really are.
I am.
It's very admirable because I do not have it.
Right. No, I mean, we are complete opposites on this.
Yeah.
Right.
So I see that it exists. It's not magic. Some people got it and some people don't.
Yeah. But I when you walk in and you say, I'm going to do this thing, if your every intent and action is built around doing that thing, you can make it happen, right? Yeah. Not make it happen. You can come closer to making it happen. You can
move that direction.
You can be in a better position to make it happen.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's kind of like that whole, I think we were just discussing this in one of our recent podcast episodes, or maybe it was like on our Discord, which again is Wednesdays at 10.
Yeah.
But it's that whole, if you manifest shit into the universe, then good things will come to you through the magic of manifestation, which I totally don't believe in.
Right.
But you know what I do believe in? If you have, like what you're saying, this intention that this is what I'm going to do, you're going to overlook the bad shit and you're going to concentrate on the good shit, which is thereby going to allow you to be in the mood to create better opportunities for yourself.
It's just not just focusing on the good shit. It's saying, I am going to do this. What are the things that are going to get me to be able to do this? And every single day, every single hour, every single time you have to reset your mood, you say, okay, get back into it. What are we doing? How do I get there? What do I need to do from here?
It's just refocusing.
Refocusing. Yeah.
So toward that end, actually, studies have shown that individuals with a strong internal locus of control or belief in their ability to influence events tend to be more resilient and successful in overcoming challenges.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, I that makes a lot of sense.
I mean you're looking for the opportunities.
Yeah. Again, it's not magic. It's just a matter of your mindset and your willingness to allow yourself to find the way to do the thing you want to do.
It's right? Just a better way of phrasing the whole, or a less elegant way of phrasing every problem is an opportunity.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. I mean, a lot of people call it tricking themselves, right? You trick yourself into being in this way, to be this way to enact a certain outcome, right? Yeah. And people do it before sports. People people who play sports, right? I specifically remember when I was younger and wanting to be better at sports, I did a lot of research into how to do that. And I read books about how, some of my favorite people that I followed back then, what they did. And they would prep before a game, right? They would get their mind in a certain state and calm and do certain routines to prepare themselves for the game, mentally walk themselves through the game before they ever played it, right? Yeah. They would imagine scenarios, they would do all these things. And so I think I internalized a lot of that throughout my life. Yeah. And I carried it forward with regard to how I treat my ability to be in a certain situation and enact change. So. Yeah,
it's manifestation that you actually did by putting work into it,
right? Not
by just asking the universe to deliver it to you.
No, God didn't replay those fucking games in my head before a game. That was my idea, and that was not my idea. I stole that idea from somebody else, right? But it was my choice to do that,
right?
In order to try to prep myself for whatever game I was playing.
Yeah.
So.
Are you familiar with the term neuroplasticity?
I feel like I've heard it, but I'm not familiar with it.
I know, same here. Like, I was not, I had heard it before, but didn't know what it was off the top of my head.
Yeah.
It's the brain's ability to reorganize itself, which demonstrates that individuals can change and adapt throughout their lives.
Okay.
So just kind of goes along with what you're saying. You can kind of force your brain to fucking grow, guys.
Right.
You have to want to, though.
Well, and there's those things like it takes 30 days to build a habit, right? There's things. I'm saying, generally speaking, like there are these little ideas in the world that if you do certain things for certain amounts of times, you can retrain yourself to do certain things, right?
Not
And I'm
necessarily
saying
30 days.
Right.
But yes, I hear you.
Right. I'm just saying that you can work on changing your behaviors. You can work on changing your personality even. You can work, I mean, that's what people go to for counseling for, right? They want to improve their mental health and their ability to interact with other people.
Right. And problem solve.
Right.
Instead of being a bitch and punching a wall or, screaming my head off, which I've done both in the past, maybe I should, learn some tools to manage anger or to manage frustration and learn why I'm frustrated.
And luckily, as a society, we have realized that these are important medical things that we need to treat.
Yeah.
These are important mental states that we need to bolster. They are things that are important for us as humans to understand and try to work towards, right? It's not the days of old where we lobotomize people for being crazy or you know what I'm saying? Or lock them in a freaking room and fed them drugs. These are not those days anymore. And we grew up in a world that was just on the
almost.
We were
almost there.
Yeah. Well, but there was still the stigma of what it used to mean. And so counseling and mental health was still not prioritized when we were younger.
Like, the only ones that had counseling were the jokes about people in Hollywood. Everybody's got a counselor.
Right.
Like, I can remember specifically that there were a lot of shows where that was like a joke that was made.
Yeah.
And I didn't quite understand it because, given that I got a touch of the tism, I was taking it literally, and I was like, but what's wrong with that? Isn't that a good thing? Why is that funny? Ha 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 ha.
Well, I do remember specifically. I remember me and my brother got counseling after my parents got divorced.
Oh, wow.
And I remember being a little scared what people would think.
Yeah.
That I was going to counseling. So I never talked about it with anybody other than my immediate family.
I don't even think I remember you telling me that.
I'm sure I probably did at some point.
That's why I phrased it the way I did.
Yeah, it's not something that I talk about a lot because honestly, like I said at the time, I think I was more traumatized by the fact that I was going to counseling than no, I mean that's how I felt. Like it was one of those things where like, oh, I have to go to counseling. What?
Yeah.
And even as a kid I remember thinking that.
Yeah.
But now I have a completely different view of what counseling means, and I believe and know it to be a good thing for people.
That's so funny because when my ex and I divorced, we put our kid in counseling right away. And, they and I both are still in counseling and, for various mental health issues and stuff. And it's just like a thing. And like, we're not embarrassed or ashamed. We're like...
Nor should you be.
Right. Exactly. But like, we don't mind not just telling family, but like anybody who asks. Yeah, I don't care.
Right.
That's the difference just in our lifetimes. Gen X is a really, really weird age, I'm just going to say.
We were on we were teetering between two worlds. We were teetering between the world of
before and after.
Yeah.
Everything.
Literally the technological age came to being in our lifetime when we were going through our adolescence.
Yeah.
So it was an interesting time to grow up.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
So, okay, talking about mental health and stuff, though, that is a great place to jump into our final topic, which is reframing the narrative.
Sure.
Interesting, because we did kind of touch on that.
Yeah.
It's shifting the focus from blame and victimhood to empowerment and resilience.
Right.
So we're talking about a mindset that avoids dwelling on past injustices or assigning blame, and instead advocates for taking ownership of one's narrative and focusing on solutions and possibilities.
Right.
So I think reframing the narrative is just a completely wonderful way of saying that.
Yeah. Well, and to bring this back into context with regard to what we are going down to the Kentucky Freethought Convention for, which is, a secular and atheist convention where we are talking about, for all intents and purposes, we're talking about God, right? We're talking about the lack of God and the ability to live a life with a lack of God or without God interfering in our laws or whatever the case may be, right?
Right.
So with regard to the God of the Bible and Christianity and how this culture affects us and the United States or the world in general that does, fall under the purview of Christianity, it's, the God of the Bible is very not modern. We've talked about this quite a bit.
Not modern.
Well, yeah. No, it came up in Hosea recently because we're reading Hosea right now in our read through of the Bible, and how they talk about framing the negative that is the Israelites in referencing it as a woman or women or things that are failings in it's misogynistic, right?
Yeah.
The whole idea and the basis of the whole Bible is that humans are bad and sinful from birth, right? Because we did the ultimate sin, or the what is it called? The original sin. Yeah, that's what I was trying to come up with. And so we are bad and wrong from the get-go, and that is part of why we have trouble in our society with mental health, because we collectively, as a Christian, more or less a Christian society. Mm-hmm. Now, we don't view ourselves that way overall. We want to be secular, generally speaking. Mm-hmm. I would say the majority of Americans would agree with secularism as is the way to go. Mm-hmm. Now, that's debatable as to how things are going right now, but overall, we've walked that path quite a bit as a country. But the mental health aspect has been a slow build to where we are now, because there's not a lot of room in Christianity to allow for us to have mental health issues if we're viewing ourselves in the light of a perfect God.
You just need to have more God. You just need to get Jesus in your heart.
Right.
And then you'd be fine.
Yeah.
Didn't you know?
Right. And there's a lot of Christians and people who don't view mental health in the best light, who will say things like build a bridge and get over it, or
oh my God.
or just basically diminish the whole idea of mental health. And it's not always because they are religious in the moment. It's more because of the generational curses.
Yes.
The generational wrongness of this Christian idea in our society.
Yes.
That builds this hate into ourselves for ourselves,
mm-hmm.
And that's what we have to break free of.
Yeah.
That's the generational curse.
The societal norms.
As it applies to Christianity, as it applies to a secular society.
Exactly.
We have to be able to take the ideas that we have grown up with as a nation, as a world, as a society, and say, enough is enough. This is not how we want to be as humans, as people who are progressing, as people who are becoming better and more. And we have to be able to say that this has to stop. And we have to be able to break away from these ideas.
I think that is a perfect place to end this. Holy shit. I mean, you brought it right back around. And it is exactly everything that we said from beginning to end and back around, Yeah.
No, it just real quick. This is why I love our podcast,
mm-hmm.
right? These ideas that are in the Bible that affect our society, they're not correct. They're not right. They're not progressive. They're not good for human beings.
They aren't. They're not good for human beings, and they're not good for human beings that have grown past these silly ideas.
Yeah.
We're better than this.
We are. We are better than this, and we should act as though we're better than this.
Yes.
So that to me is what this is all about.
Yes.
Well, hopefully you're at the Kentucky Freethought Convention. You can tell me what you thought of the episode.
Yeah.
Me, because wife's not going to be there.
I know.
You can tell her on Discord, though. When she joins on Discord, you can talk to her right through there, and she can chat back.
Yes.
But in that's all we got today, I think.
Sure as fuck is.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, for joining us on this special episode where we're kind of going over a topic that's relevant for the convention that we're going to. And if you're there, I'd love to see you at our booth. We do have some, knickknacks for you if you mention this when you stop by the booth. So definitely do that.
If you stop by, you should also make a point of stopping by Stephen Hines' booth. He's a wonderful person and a friend of ours. We met him at the last Kentucky Freethought Convention, and he happens to live, God put him in our path. He lives like a half hour from us. So he's just a great guy. He'll have a booth.
Just for the record, wife was kidding.
Yeah. No, God didn't put him in our path.
Right, yeah.
Jeez.
No,
but he and his wife are fabulous. She won't be there this time, but Stephen will. Stop by and see him as well as us.
Yeah, definitely.
And buy a book from him, and he's an illustrator. Or no, I'm sorry, he's not illustrator. He's a writer.
Yeah.
I was thinking of his fantastic comic.
If you can't make it, join our Discord. The link's always in the show notes.
Yes, definitely.
So go down there, click on that link, join us on Discord, and you can be right there with us at the Kentucky Freethought Convention.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's how Wife's going to be there.
Yeah.
Not, even though she's not there.
I know.
So.
Stop saying that. It's like you want me to cry.
All right, we're going to get out of here, guys. I've got a lot to do before I get on the road to the convention. So have a good day, and I hope to see you there.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegiousdiscourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.